I understand from what you've shared with me before that God asked you to come back to your passport culture, and you're here in North America, wanting to see this type of thing happen here. Why is that, and how did that come about for you?
Yeah, that was interesting. I grew up overseas. My parents were missionaries. My call has always been to least reached peoples and areas. About 8 years ago now, the Lord spoke to me and told me He wanted me to start focusing half my time on the United States. And for me, it's not so much related to the numbers or the access to the gospel as it is to the quality of disciple making. I mean, just as, our hearts can be touched by places that don't have access to the gospel, similarly, they can be touched for places where people are experiencing much less than the Lord wants them to, in terms of the abundant life that He desires for us. And it seemed to me that the depth of discipleship in this country was getting shallower and shallower and shallower. And while it's true that movements, sometimes do result in very fast growth in the kingdom, to me, as important is the depth of growth that we see in disciples that are living out these patterns. And that was something that I do desire for this country. And so that's, a little different than the nature of my lifelong call to least reach peoples. But that's been what has really grabbed me about the time I've spent focusing here in the US.
Okay. And as you've been like preparing for this, it was well before COVID came along. You were led to put together something that's called zume.training, and that's to kind of address these issues that were stirring in your heart for the context here in North America. So could you give us a little bit of a thumbnail sketch of that, and how you think it might fit particularly well for those of us that are having a similar kind of longing for deeper discipleship and greater kingdom impact in our countries?
Right. Well, I've had a long-term conviction that online training can never replace live training, and I still believe that. But as you mentioned a few years ago, I did start to feel as if the Lord wanted me to start getting involved in online training. And one reason was because of the different context here. If you're trying to train people who are already believers, there's only a percentage of those who decide they are willing to make the commitment and sacrifice necessary, to pursue this kind of a change in their own lives and ministry. I foresaw that this online training could sort of be a filter to help identify those people who were really serious.
Mhm.
And that did turn out to be the case. It can be like training wheels for people as they are new in movements, but already are being called on to equip others so that they can lean some on these videos in topics where they don't feel confident to present themselves. Right now, we have, I believe, 33 languages live.
Wow.
And by the end of the year, that should be 40 languages that will be live on the site.
What are some of the, like, especially as those people have been popping, saying, "I really want this." How is it resonating in their hearts? What are some of the common themes that is coming out of the longing of their hearts, and how this is hitting them well?
That's a great question. I think there may be as many answers to that as there are people. Things like, I've always known I should be doing X or Y or Z, but I didn't really know how to go about it. Once they have done X, Y, or Z, they find out indeed it's very fulfilling and, really met some of the desires of, how they hoped the Lord might use them. Um,
So it's you've seen it resonating with this sense of longing of, hey, I want something different. I just don't know exactly how to do it. And so this is providing them that a sense of a knowledge of a better way to get engaged with the things that are on their heart. As you've been training the people over the last number of years, especially here in North America, what are some of the more common awakenings or the gaps that are being revealed that people are realizing, oh, I need to change this in my life if I'm going to be a disciple worth multiplying like this?